Samantha, welcome back and welcome to the Authors Club.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
So excited for you. How does it feel to be in your final sprint of publishing your first book?
Truly amazing. Like surreal is really the only word I can use. But I'm so happy to be to this point. It's been such a long process, and I just want people to get it in their hands so that they can see what I love about it.
Yeah, totally.
hmm
Well,
Yeah.
you're a friend of the pod. You've been on the show before. So I'm so curious. You've had so much in your life change since you were last on the podcast. So catch us up.
Yeah. I mean, writing a book that took about a year and a half, I'd
Mhm.
say, which is crazy to think. During all of that, we decided we're going to build a house. So we've been doing that.
You've been
We bought a
building a house
lot.
like from the ground up, like from the
From,
studs, right?
yes, 100%. Like, yeah, we found a piece of land. We were like, we're going to build a house. We started from the ground up, and it's been a really interesting process. It's been amazing, but also I'll be very happy for that to be done, and we're getting to the finish line there too. So a lot is happening there. Kids are growing up, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were designing this house, because you literally got to design your dream house, how much
hmm
did plants inform your design aesthetic in terms of like window placement and that kind of
Oh my
stuff?
gosh, like 90%, like literally to
Really?
the entire lot that I chose. Yes.
Oh, tell me
Down
more.
to the direction of the lot and where I knew I'd have windows and things like that. So I wanted, well, I had my dream would be to have like huge south facing windows. And we do have huge windows in the house, but I just knew that like it'd be so hot all the time. It's bad for living in a
Yeah.
house like that. It would just feel like a greenhouse, literally. You'd just be hot, glare on the TV, all the things. So the next best, in my opinion, is east facing. Because again, if you go west with your big windows, hot
Hot.
afternoon sun, can't relax. Morning sun is so nice and beautiful and gentle, but with the huge windows, they go pretty much floor to ceiling,
Wow.
like almost, I think they're like 16 foot. So they're really tall. So we'll have a lot of light coming in for a lot of the morning. But then when it gets really hot in the day, we'll have some just, ambient light. So that was I was like, I want the house to face this direction for that reason. My plant room that I'm doing is it's going to be above the garage, but it has south and west facing windows. So
Nice.
lots of light for my plants there.
So you're going to
But
have
I
a
really just want to
you're
have,
building a dedicated plant room?
I mean, yeah, but also could someday be like a bunk room for the kids, hangout room. Like I didn't want it to feel like a greenhouse with just windows everywhere
Hmm.
because my goal for the whole house was to have my plants a lot of different places in the house versus my house I'm in now. I really don't have that much space that works for plants. So I have to have them all congregated in one area. So
Mm.
in the new house, I was like, I want to enjoy them everywhere, not have to go to one room to enjoy them. So that was kind of the goal with that. So yes, the room will be my office/plant room, but I'm going to have more plants everywhere in the house than I do now. So that was my goal for building a house. My
Yeah,
husband had other goals,
I
but those
feel
are
like
mine.
that's an interesting thing people
Yeah.
don't talk about in the Instagram
hmm
space is like per perceivably like one would think when they see your Instagram that your whole house looks covered in plants. But
hmm
because you know how to take care of plants, most Instagram plant people, like their plants are all in one room or in one
Yes.
corner. Like
Yep.
when I first started with plants, when I lived in New York City, we had southern facing windows, but they were only on one side of the apartment. So all my plants
hmm
were on one side of the apartment, and then the other side of the
hmm
apartment had no plants or had grow lights with plants in them.
Yes.
And so I think that is a funny like Instagram versus reality thing that people
It
don't
is.
necessarily
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah, you think, oh, plant person, plants everywhere in your house. In reality, it's like they're in two rooms,
Yeah.
all just squished together. And I really didn't want to I will probably have grow lights in a couple areas still, but I just didn't want to rely on grow lights only, even though they've come a long way and they're gorgeous now.
Mhm.
I just really wanted to be able to have my plants thrive kind of wherever I want to put them with the amount of light, the natural light they get. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it could change, but for now, I
Yeah.
think I have some good spots for some plants.
So I'm curious, when did you get into plants in this house? 10 years ago?
Yeah, well, when we moved here. So I think we've been here for about 8 years.
Okay. So
And
you've
when we moved here, I was like, this room is perfect for plants. So,
so you cultivated that aesthetic in this house. How
yes,
do you feel like your aesthetic might change as you move into this new house?
I think I've had the same type of like jungle aesthetic in this house for 8 years because
Yeah.
they were all just kind of congregated in one area. My main goal for the new house is to truly make them feel like they're much more part of the house versus just one room full of plants. So
Mm.
I'm planning a lot of I've been kind of getting rid of a lot of plants that are either duplicates or ones that I know I won't have space for or want to make space for. So in my collection, I've had up to like 300 plants. And I would say I'm probably to like probably a little over 100. So I probably cut it
Wow.
almost in half just because, well, A, out of necessity, I don't want to move 300 plants, especially if I know I'm
Yep.
not going to want to keep all of them. But I just want it to feel more intentional versus collector. I don't know
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Like, I got rid of my greenhouse cabinet, which, I just was kind of over that. I just want it to look like my plants did when I was growing up and my mom had plants in the house. Like they were just part of the decor, not like all your focus
The
goes to
focus.
the plants. Yeah. So I want them to feel more intentional in where I'm putting them versus just like, wow, she has a lot of plants, you
I
know?
so relate to that. Oh my gosh.
So I
I
think
think
that's what a
that's
lot of
the
people are going to be moving towards after the pandemic and everybody went plant crazy. I feel it can, we all go through, you just had a baby. Like, I'm sure you're kind of in the
Mhm.
mode of like,
I have a lot
declutter,
of
get these
dead
out of
plants right
here.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
So
call
I think a
myself
lot of
out. I have a
people,
lot of dead plants right
yeah,
now with an 8 week
yeah.
old baby.
Oh my gosh, I can't, yeah. And we all go through those parts of our lives where
Mhm.
we're really into it. And then, life does its life things. And we're like, okay, we got to take a step back from our plants. And then we can kind of come to it again. So basically, what I'm doing is keeping the plants that I know will be hard to replace, that I absolutely love, ones I've had, generational plants, ones I've had for a long time. The other ones that I'm like, oh yeah, I could find that at any Home Depot. Oh yeah, I could go get another one here. Those I'm letting go and I feel good about it.
Yeah, I am in the same place. And it's interesting because part of me also is like, I'm getting rid of plants, but then also like my taste in plants is kind of changing. So I'm also like,
Mm-hmm.
I want one big plant for my bathroom, and I don't have
Mm-hmm.
any one big plant. So I'm actually probably going to buy a plant for my bathroom, even though I'm like getting rid of a lot of other plants
Yes.
or frankly killing a bunch of plants. I feel like my taste has changed. Like, do you feel like your
Mm-hmm.
taste in what plants you're keeping? Is there a common theme in terms of what type of plants you're keeping?
Yeah, big. I'm not keeping any. The smallest plant I have is probably like a 6 inch, like trailing
Yeah.
plant. And that's another reason why I got rid of like the cabinet because I could really only have little plants in there. And I just want the big plants ever. I want statement plants
Yes, me too.
and plants that I can group together that make a statement, but yet like all the little ones were driving me crazy. So there
Yeah.
are some tricks if you have a bunch of little ones and you want to, combine them. There's things you can do to kind of take away the feeling of a bunch of little plants and create
Hmm.
a one that looks like a pretty bouquet of plants.
Hmm.
So it doesn't feel like so overwhelming of watering, a lot of 2 inch pots. So, I mean, there's things I've been doing with that, like, combining some plants and putting them some different areas where, at the base of a tall plant, I've been putting smaller plants in their same pots on top of the soil of the bigger plant, and just kind of, so then when I water it, I water them all at once. So
It's
that's
like the
been an easy
thriller,
way to
filler,
combine.
spiller
Yeah, it is.
mentality.
It is. Yes. And I feel like people need to know that you can do that and not be afraid of like, I have a plant I'm looking at right now. I have a Hoya hanging on my altissima, my Ficus altissima tree. It's just, and it's hanging planter just hanging on one of the branches.
Hmm.
Like you can kind of, well, out of necessity, I had to put them wherever I could fit them.
Yeah.
But you can also do that intentionally.
No, totally. And I think it's important for people to hear that even Samantha, millions and billions of followers on
Hmm.
Instagram, known for her plants, is going from 300 plants to 100 plants, is
Hmm.
getting rid of plants, is
Absolutely.
changing her
Hmm.
aesthetic. Like, just because your plant collection looked one way originally or last year doesn't mean that you have to stay tethered to that.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a
And
lot of guilt with getting rid of plants for a lot of people. A
yeah,
lot of people have guilt. It's just, especially throwing them away. I don't really have to throw any away. I can mostly give them away, but people have a really hard time letting go of plants. And I get it because you put in so much time and effort to them. But I've always just been if it's not making me happy to look at it and I don't want the
mhm.
challenge of fixing it, it's gone.
Yeah, I feel like at this moment in my life, once again, I get all the passes because I have an 8 week old baby and I'm a first time mom, but
100%.
like
Yeah.
I'm almost too comfortable like with that. I'm like too comfortable with letting go at this moment.
Hmm.
And it's so funny because my mom will come to my house and she'll see, like, right now in my house, it's survival of the fittest. Like, if you
Hmm.
can't make it with it, like me forgetting to water you, like, I'm just like kind of letting you wither in your pot. Or I live
Absolutely.
in Florida, so I'm putting you in my backyard and you're just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
growing
you're on
in
your own.
into the
Yeah.
soil. And she's like, are you going to water your plants? And I'm like, no, not in
Hmm.
this season, mom.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
funny because I'm like getting judgment.
oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, totally. It can be, you can take it on and I used to be like that too. I've cried over plants that have died in
Hmm.
my care. And you just hit a moment where you're like, "Oh, this doesn't need to be that
Yeah,
insane."
yeah.
But the bigger plants are more expensive. So I do feel like once
Yes,
the investment is there, you do feel like you want to take care of it a
absolutely.
little bit better.
Investment, either monetary or time
Hmm.
investment, like both of those are things that make it really hard to let go. But I will also say it's funny because I have four kids. You have your little Bubba boy,
Hmm.
and I'm sure that you're going to be like, hold on to everything so tight. The more kids you have, just like with the more plants you have, you're like, it's okay. Like we can let
Yeah.
some things go. I don't hold so tight. It's like little things that with my firstborn that I was like so uptight about and just had to have right and all these things. By my fourth, I'm like, you're good, you know?
Yep.
So it's kind of like the
Totally.
more plants I have too, I'm like, if you look a little rough right now, you're fine.
Right.
Like
Figure
we'll
it
take
out.
care of you once we have time and then you'll bounce back. So
You
I
fall
think it is
down,
kind of
walk it
a,
off. Get back
yeah,
up and walk it off.
exactly. Yeah.
If your bone
Yeah.
isn't sticking out of your
No
arm,
bubble
you're
wrap here.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Do any of your kids, do you have four boys?
no, I have girl, boy, girl, boy.
Girl, boy, girl, boy. Are
Yeah.
any of them
Yeah.
into plants these days?
I think, yeah, my oldest is 13. She's, going into, what is it, seventh, eighth grade now. She definitely is like, Mom, like when we're walking through the house, the new house, going through things, she's like, Mom, this would be a great spot for a plant. Or she'll be like, you could put a
Oh,
picture here. Mom, maybe you could put a plant here. My little ones are like, if I have a plant, they're like, or, I look at the store with one, they're like, Mom, you do not need any more. You have so many plants and stuff like
they're
that.
like eye roll.
But I think that they would, if they were all gone tomorrow, like all the plants were gone, I think they would really miss it and they would feel really weird because they've literally grown up with plants everywhere. So
What a
they
gift.
do all occasionally say, oh, can I have that one for my room? Can I, all that stuff. So I think slowly but surely they'll get there. It's kind of like when you're immersed in it all the time, though, you can take it for granted a little bit.
You know what's
But I think
funny?
that they'll want some stuff for their room.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I've interviewed so many plant people right now,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
when I ask, like, how did you become the plant parent that you are today? Frequently, I get one of two answers. One is I killed all my plants and I had to figure out how to care for them because I wanted to, and I like muscled my way
Hmm.
through it. And like I was plant blind as a kid. Like that was my experience. Is like
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to plants. Or I grew up with plants. I grew up on a farm. My mom had houseplants in our window.
Mm.
They were part of my life, and I didn't know how special it was until I went to college, and
Yes,
all of a
that
sudden
was
I
me.
didn't, and
Yes.
then I didn't have plants, and I
Hmm.
missed them, and so I started to learn how to care for them again. So
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like no
literally it.
matter what, your kids will absolutely have that experience
Yeah, I
down
think
the
so
line.
too.
It's just that that's like 10 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah. And my mom, it's so funny you say that about the college thing, is my mom literally sent me to college with a golden pothos cutting from her plant that was probably like who knows how old, 20
Hmm.
plus years old.
Right.
And that thing has seen so many things and like so has been so bad, like all the way down to like two leaves left. But it held on and it's still in the same pot that she gave me. Now, like, listen, this is one of those like do as I say, not as I do
Yeah.
situations because I've never repotted that plant. I just keep adding some soil on top. I make sure it's fertilized. I do like some soil conditioner. But I just don't want to repot it now. I feel like now it's just like
Yeah.
I need to
You
just kind of
can't.
keep it going. It's been like 15 years or more, it's crazy. But yeah, and it's one that I probably told you this before, but it's the one that like grows on my wall in my plant room and stuff. And so that will be making the move. That's
Yeah,
one of
that is
those
so
generational
special.
plants that I'm like, that needs to come with me. And that I want to like take cuttings and make sure I'm growing more for my kids and stuff like that. Send
Oh
because
my
my
God,
daughter's
the
not
day
that
that
far
you
off
send
from
your daughter to
college. Are you
college
kidding?
and
I
you
know.
give
She only has like 5 more years. It's crazy.
and she
It's
takes a cutting of
crazy.
that plant.
Yeah,
I want to
I
like write a
know.
song about that.
I know
That's
you
an amazing
should.
story.
I'm not musical at all, so if you write a song, I would love it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies.
Time flies. What aspect of your house are you the most excited about?
The windows. Honestly, it is just, I mean, memories for my kids, of course, because they've watched this whole build process as well. And so I think it's just been so amazing to see something like the perseverance of building a house, plus just seeing it literally be built from the ground up, seeing the people that work on it and how, like, their craftsmanship and their skill and their, all those things are so cool for the kids. Them dreaming up their rooms and how they want their rooms to look, and
Yeah.
it's just, I think seeing it all come together and like that first night in your new house is always so weird. Like we've moved, a few times, like we've never built
Hmm.
before. So I think it's just gonna be so weird to remember every step of the way the first night that we stay there. Like I kind of
Yeah.
want to go back through because I have videos of all of it too, from break, like we literally went the night we bought the lot, it was just dirt. And we went and we like dug up some dirt and put it, like broke ground ourselves with little shovels and all the kids were there and stuff. So I just kind of want to like revisit all those
Yeah.
videos. I might make a little montage or something to watch the first night we're in the house. I don't know yet, but
That's
it'll be fun.
so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the kids being able to figure out their own
Their own
rooms
space.
and like,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, that is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, they
then I'm
have it
also just
now,
thinking,
kind of, but yeah, it's going to be different.
yeah, I'm thinking about like all the content opportunities you're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
make. And do you have
Mm-hmm.
any like projects you immediately want to undergo?
Just setting up my plant room, I think, will be the biggest thing that I'm going to want to film and stuff. And I mean, it's hard. There's a fine line between wanting it all to just be done
Yep.
when we move in versus little added things I can do here and there to make it even more special after the fact. So there's some things like I want to do like a big wallpaper feature wall,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll probably do that after and film that stuff. But really, it's probably just going to be showing a lot about how I set things up because it is just so different than my current setup of my house.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a pool we're putting in, which is crazy. That's getting put in now. So setting up my plants around the pool is going to be so
Yeah.
fun. Lots of yards, like lawn, like plants, all that stuff being done. I'm going for English garden vibes. So it
Cool.
should be really fun to show outdoor plants too, because I do that a little bit, but not as much. So I think
Yeah.
people love to see that too. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of opportunities. Organization, like how I'm going to set up my kitchen organization, my
Mm-hmm.
pantry, all that stuff. There's so many things. I'm probably just going to end up turning into like a house
Those are
house
my,
content creator.
I know, I was gonna
Those are
say
my
those are
guilty
like my
pleasure.
favorite videos to watch on TikTok is the
Yes, I
organization
know.
things.
Or the fridge organization, all the things. I'm really strong with it for like a week and then it all just goes to
Yeah.
crap. So,
Well, with 4 kids, I would assume, right? Like
yes,
that's
yeah.
that's a
I
tall
can do it
order.
how I want all the time, but nobody else can keep it the way I want it. So, I
Yeah.
got to let that go.
Oh my gosh. I'm, in
There's
the
a
same
lot.
boat with you as I just moved into our house
Yes.
and we bought an old house still in the 70s. Sam, my garage has carpet. My garage is carpeted.
My goodness.
It's incredible.
I mean,
It's
I
insane.
maybe it needs to come back. I don't even know. They obviously had a
No, it
purpose.
should not come back. It should absolutely not come back. My garage has carpet. Our house was trapped in the 70s. We pretty much
Mhm.
gutted it and renovated it all during
Wow.
my pregnancy, which was insane. And then
That's
it
even
had,
crazier than building, to be honest, because you rip things down and you find so many more issues along the way. Ugh,
yeah, like we
no.
had mold in Florida. We had mold. So we ended up
Yes.
renovating, but it worked out because we ended up renovating our primary bath because the shower had mold in it that we didn't know when we bought it. But we have like a
Wow.
kick-ass primary bathroom
Oh,
now.
absolutely. Yeah.
But
Sometimes, you got
right.
to do what you got to do.
Hurt the wallet,
Yeah.
but anyway, why did I bring that up? Oh, I feel you on the fine line between wanting it done and wanting it right and wanting it beautiful
Hmm.
because I mean, my baby came early, so we didn't
Hmm.
get to like finish unpacking and moving in. And there was
Right.
definitely like a laundry list of things that I wanted to do before he arrived. And then obviously
Hmm.
now that he's been here and I've been in, first time momhood,
Yeah, you're not
newborn
doing
trenches,
anything. Yeah,
I'm
except for
not,
cuddling and
yeah,
yeah. Uh-huh.
exactly. And like trying
Yeah.
to sleep.
Yeah.
So, we don't have art on the walls. Like, I don't have a bookshelf. Like, we don't have a place for my books yet. Like,
Hmm.
and I could just like Amazon some random thing. But
Yeah.
then, like, I do want to sit in the house for a minute and think about, okay, like, what is the flow? Like, what would make the most sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to approach the whole redesign with biophilia in mind too. So, like,
Yes.
similar to what you're doing, where
Yes.
can I put a plant or how can I incorporate nature into this
Yes,
wall or this whatever. But it takes
hmm
time and it's
it
hard because you
does.
want it to just be done and you want to sit in your calm
hmm
space,
hmm
but that's
I'm
not
a
necessarily
yeah.
how it works out.
I'm a very like do it now person. So for me, but I also agree, I want to collect pieces
Mhm.
versus just like you said, grabbing something quick off Amazon, which I will always do. That's
Always
not,
do.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
always an option. But for like the bigger furniture pieces and, you know, even like plant stands, I'm like, I want to find some
Yeah.
cool, unique
Mhm.
antique one or something, something that has more meaning. I feel like in this house here, I had, because I just got so many plants pretty quickly once we moved here, I was like, out of necessity, kind of like you, I just had to have something.
Mhm.
And then, you know, it sits there for 7 years and
Yep.
it works and I don't want to get rid of it and it's fine. But in this house, I definitely want to kind of find things that have more of a story. So I'm excited about that.
Well, that's so amazing. I mean, that's amazing. And you have the time
hmm
and the prep and the control, frankly, because you're building the
hmm
house to like do what you want with
Yes.
it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I felt like this was no better time than to have you on the podcast to kind of talk about your design aesthetic and how you approach this idea of making plants elevate your home, not overwhelm your home. Because I think
hmm
probably a lot of listeners might be sitting there right now being like, wow, this plant collection has gotten overwhelming, or this isn't curated anymore. And then that's never fun when the plants that we buy to make us happy make us stressed. So
hmm
I know you've come up with some tips for the audience on how to get that
hmm
classic house plus plant aesthetic.
Yep. Yep.
What do you think is like the most important thing that you do when you approach styling plants?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just trying to find more creative ways to display them beyond just your normal plant stand or hanging it in a window
Hmm.
situation. So I think for me, I get really happy and excited when I can find a way to hang them that's a little bit more untraditional. Even like I said, like hanging one in a tree, like hang a
Hmm.
hanging pot in one of your larger trees that have, you know, more sturdy branches. Or I do love the clear window shelves. I've had the clear window shelves forever. I'm probably going to be bringing them to the new house too. I love having those because you can kind of create curtains with your plants. And so, you know, people, it can block the harsh sun, but your plants love it. And then people walking by can't see in, but they can see your pretty plants. So I do love that. Finding ways to make the plants art. So hanging them on your wall, but using a frame around them or, you know, and adding a little picture light, things like that to kind of create more unique ways of displaying them that would make people actually want to stop and look at them. And then it also makes it so that you can see them better too, versus just having them in a clump with a bunch of other plants.
Hmm. Talk to
So
me
that's one
about
of my
the
favorite ways.
frame. Talk to me about the frame.
The frame.
I saw that on your
Yeah.
Instagram. It's so clever and
Yeah,
cute. You could do
it's
a whole
so
gallery wall that
easy.
way.
You could totally do a gallery wall. And actually, in the new house, I have a spot where I had them hardwire picture lights. And they're like, oh, it'd be so cute to put pictures of your kids here. And I'm like, nope, there's only 3 picture lights. I'm putting plants there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be for the kids. But I just love the idea of highlighting a plant in a way that's not your typical way. So I do love, I mean, I feel like when you go through any I don't know, we've toured some different like big, what's that mansion in like North Carolina? I can't think of it right now. But there's one where you can go through and there's like they have an atrium in the middle and everything, but
Oh.
they just display, what is
Hmm.
that one? I can't think of it. But anyway, they just display plants in such a cool way and it just feels like they're part of your decor versus being like a
Yeah.
plant on a shelf in your window, you know?
That it
So
ends up
I'm just,
literally being the art. The frame is a
yes,
real
the
like
frame,
the
yeah,
frame
and
is
I
a
want to
very
add,
explicit take on it. But
yes.
approaching plants similar to what you said with statement plants, like approaching
hmm
one statement plant as a piece of art that you might have
hmm
to invest in, right? Because larger plants tend to be more
They're
expensive.
expensive. Yes.
And then the planter also. The planters are more expensive than the plants. These planters
They
can be so
are, yes,
expensive.
they're crazy, especially for the really big ones, but it is
Yeah.
worth it.
It's totally worth it. So that approach of, okay, how is this art instead of just like something sitting on your
A side
shelf
table or
or
something.
your
Yes.
coffee table?
hmm
Because you only have so many coffee tables in your home
hmm
to put a plant
Yes.
on.
Yeah. And I don't, it shouldn't ever feel overwhelming either. I feel like people are like, oh, I don't know how to display them or whatever, but it really can be however, just like look around and see how you're using other things. If you have a shelf with something on it that's hanging on your wall, you can always put a plant there and use a little grow light. But I don't know. I feel like there's so many unique ways and the internet is full of them, you know, so you can go and explore different ways to
Mm-hmm.
display your plants. But I just think there you got to think outside the box as far as a plant doesn't have to be on a plant stand, you know, or it doesn't have to be in a hanging basket in your window. You can find other ways to display them.
Yeah, or frankly, just in a normal planter. Like
Yeah,
there you can turn
you're
anything
right.
into a planter
Yes,
these days. I
you
think too,
can.
the frame thing that's cool is going vertical, like not
Hmm.
even just thinking of your plants have to sit on something, but how can I put them on the wall? Like I have this green wall behind me,
Yes, I love your green wall. Yeah.
or,
Yep.
you know, hanging them like on a frame or
Hmm.
putting some shelving that you then put the plants on. But like
Hmm.
the purpose of the shelving is basically for your plants.
Yeah, hanging them from the ceiling. Like it's awesome to hang them from the ceiling. And I've seen people where they pin the vines up to the ceiling as
Mhm.
well, and it's grow, you know, I just think that's so cool too. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of ways. It's you kind of just got to sit there though and look around and say like, okay, where do I want to plant and what could be cool, a cool way to display it.
Visually, how are you grouping plants? Like, what do you feel like is a successful recipe for an aesthetic
Hmm.
vignette?
My number one tip is pick a planter style. It doesn't mean that it has to be the exact same planter in different sizes, but I love a color cohesion in planters. So if I'm gonna go, I'm definitely more earthy tones for
Hmm.
planters, but some people are more bright, colorful, which I think can be really fun too. But I would just kind of stick to a color family
Hmm.
because then it doesn't really matter. I just feel like if you have like a lot of like earthy colors, terracottas, and you also have like your bright sunny yellow and your, you know, gem
Hmm.
colors, things like that, it can be a little bit jarring and it doesn't really let the plants shine as much. And so if you
Hmm.
do kind of earthy tones or if you want all the colors of the rainbow, that's fine too, but like make sure you are doing that purposefully
Hmm.
and then you just can kind of let the plants shine more because your eye doesn't just immediately go to the planter. I love that. And then I also love varying heights, especially if they're grouped together so nothing
Hmm.
gets hidden. And then different leaf textures and shapes is always good too. So it doesn't look boring and like you're looking at one type of plant.
So when you're grouping plants, you're looking at the texture of the leaves so that you don't have
Mm-hmm.
all waxy leaves.
Exactly. Waxy, shiny, or you know, you want to look for some that are maybe more dull or velvety, and then you can go to the some that are really shiny and sleek.
Hmm.
Leaf shapes as well, long skinny ones versus round, like you know, your watermelon peperomia that's stripy and round versus, you know, whatever else you just have to make sure that they like the same amount of light though. I guess
Hmm.
you'd have to remember that. You can't just put like a cactus with a, you know, something that doesn't require as much light. So that's one thing you do have to watch for. But most houseplants, most tropicals can have a lot of variety and require similar care. So it
Hmm.
should be fine.
Yeah, totally. And to
Hmm.
go back to that thriller filler spiller idea, it's like
Yeah.
put them all in a planter, but have one that's upright, have one that's trailing.
Hmm.
The whole process of this green wall is like each pot has an
Hmm.
upright plant and a trailing plant, so there's like
Yeah.
coverage
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Do you believe in the like rule of threes?
So, but I feel like for plants, it's not as hard and fast because they're so like they kind of flow out and like have a
Hmm.
lot of vines and things like that. You don't always have to have, you can't do only three, only five. I definitely like odd numbers, but it still depends on the type of plant. Like if you have a bunch of upright plants
Hmm.
that you see the pot a lot, you see the stems, then I would definitely lean towards the rule of three. But other than that, I think grouping them together, as long as it does, you just want to make sure you can pick out each individual one and not have it be just a bunch
Mm.
of just like an explosion of
Hmm.
plants.
Yeah, I feel like to your point, the biggest mistake I made in the beginning of collecting plants was that my planter collection was all over the place. And it was like
Mm-hmm.
so stressful to look at for a nervous system. I didn't
Yeah, you
realize
don't even
that.
know why until you're like, oh wait, yeah,
Yeah.
it is
And
all
now
over the
I
place.
have everything in terracotta and like it's such a
Mm-hmm.
great anchor. It's such a
Yeah.
earthy rooting anchor.
Yes.
And oh, hold on one second. My mom brain,
That's okay.
I just forgot. Wait, what were we just talking about?
Terracotta planters and all together and grouping plant.
Ooh, it went right out. It
Welcome
went
to the
right out.
club.
Okay, let me keep asking questions. I'm just looking at your display anyways. Okay. Oh, in terms of the thriller filler spiller idea that you were talking about before, do you have like groupings of plants that you find yourself always going towards? Like do you always put a snake plant with a pothos or like something like that or it changes?
It changed a little bit, but it usually there's always a Hoya in there. Always
Oh,
in my
really?
groups. Always because they're so much more forgiving with their light needs and
Yeah.
their watering needs. They
Hmm.
can really deal with all of pretty wide range. So I
Mm.
feel like they're such a constant, and I love them with everything. I think they go well with everything. They look good with everything. There's so many different varieties and leaf shapes and types
Hmm.
that, and I just have a lot of them already. So they're
Yeah.
already just
Do you
there
have a
to grab.
do you have a particular type of Hoya that you like the most or that you use the
No,
most maybe?
no, not that I use it. No, anything. I mean, whatever I can get my hands on, to be
Hmm.
honest. I don't have a favorite. Like, it really is just whatever's kind of available for me to grab to throw in with something, or that I maybe want to feature in front of something. Like, I don't know. I kind of go by vibes.
Yeah.
So,
Hoyas are another one that I have found are really rewarding when they're big. Like when you buy them
yes,
big. Because I've had a lot of
absolutely.
I've been given like a lot of Hoya cuttings that like never really quite
Mm,
took off or like never
mm-hmm,
bloomed, right? Because they're going to take a minute
mm-hmm.
to bloom.
Yep.
And then you see these like huge, 8-inch baskets of
Yes.
Carnosa or, Crimson Princess or something that like you just know is going
Mm-hmm.
to erupt in blooms for you
Yeah.
quickly.
And that's a great point. Any big Hoya I want for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
for sure. That's interesting though that Hoya is your go-to.
Yeah, it is. It's so easy.
Do you find that they do well for you in like indirect light though? I don't know. I find that they want
Yeah,
so
they
much
just
light.
grow slower is
They
all.
just
They
grow
but
slower.
they so again, if you're starting with a bigger plant, it doesn't really matter. But I had a lot of smaller Hoyas, and I did end up like not really caring for those as much, just because I agree with you. They kind of grow slow when they're just getting started.
Yeah.
And a lot of like they're vining plants, and so you have to kind of chop and prop to get a full pot. That can be kind of time
Yeah.
consuming. So it is, if you can find a Hoya that's already in, even if it's not long and trailing yet or anything, if you can find it in a fuller pot, I would say
Hmm.
always go for that versus one that's just one long vine. So yeah, I mean, Hoyas, they can definitely handle lower light levels. Now, when I say low light, my definition of light is likely
Hmm.
not the same. I mean, like, instead of being 3 inches from a south facing window, they could handle being 8 feet from a south
Right.
facing window, but
Hmm.
not like in a dark bathroom with no light.
Right.
But I just love them so much.
Yeah.
They are so rewarding. They bloom. Like, not very many of our houseplants bloom.
Hmm.
And so, and they mostly smell good. So some
I
don't smell so
know.
great,
That's
but most
so
of them smell
cool.
great.
I
Yeah.
love bloom. I feel like blooming houseplants can be underrated. Hoyas obviously are not underrated, but like
Mm-hmm.
my holiday cactus in this green wall that's right over
Mm-hmm.
my shoulder was gifted to
Yeah.
me from a friend, so it's very special. But like she blooms 6 times a year for me. Beautiful pink
Amazing.
blooms. I feel like the holiday cactus is kind of underrated or
It's
your
very underrated.
yeah, or like your basic anthurium. Like it's so nice to
Mm-hmm.
have plants that bloom
It is.
indoors.
Yeah. I love them. I want to try and find more. I might make that a goal when I'm ready to start collecting more plants, to find the ones that will bloom.
Yeah.
But I always just kind of go to Hoyas for that
Yeah.
because there's so many unique looking blooms as well.
One of my Hoyas bloomed like right before I gave birth, and I basically like missed the whole thing. I
Dang
was
it. I
so
know
pissed.
there is a small window.
I was
That
so
part
pissed.
is
I mean,
true.
great, great excuse,
Yes.
no regrets, but I was like,
Yeah.
what a bummer.
I know.
Yeah. Anything else? What's your favorite aesthetic like install you've done in this existing home that you're sad to take down?
Mm, my clear window shelves for sure,
Mm.
because they were custom made for those windows. And
Oh,
I think I'll
wow.
be able to use them anyway because they'll fit anywhere. I could even put them on a wall, but they were custom made for that window, so they just fit it so well.
Wait, so
So
how tell me more about that. How does that work?
the width, so they're three separate pieces because I have three windows across my sunroom. And so it was Beautiful Views. Yeah, Beautiful Views Shelves is the name of the company that did it. And they cut it to the length you need it that fits your window. So I only have a tiny gap between each shelf,
Hmm.
and they're just wider than what you can get like off of Amazon or whatever. So it's just a more custom size.
That's so cool.
So
And then how do you install
yeah,
them?
they have different ways of installing, but mine just screw into like the overhang of the window.
That's so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah,
Talk
so I'll be
about
sad to take those
maximizing your
down.
window space.
I know. I was maybe gonna offer to leave them here for whoever buys the house if they're into plants, just because
Hmm.
like I could put them somewhere, but they're also just perfect there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's probably my favorite. And then just the picture frame
Hmm.
one when I had my anthurium there, but I had a Anthurium pallidiflorum, which is like your strap anthurium,
Mhm.
but it just didn't get enough light there, so I had to replace it with the pothos, which is fine. But I
Yeah.
loved it. Like when that anthurium was there, it was so gorgeous. So I absolutely am going to do that in the new house
Mm.
because the plant room will have the right light for it. So that I think I do want to find a couple oval frames and fun things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That'll
just
look
some
so
antique
cool.
frames. Hmm.
Also, my original thought was, oh, you could do a whole gallery wall of the framed plants, but actually, it probably would look even cooler if you did a normal gallery wall where only a couple of the frames were plants.
Yes, that would be fun.
I think that could look really cool too. Just as
Yeah,
I'm
there's
thinking,
so many
I've
options.
got a lot of
Yeah.
white walls in my
Yeah,
house
I'm
right
sure
now.
you have a lot of space.
I'm
Yeah.
like, this
I
isn't much
actually
more.
had
Hmm.
I had him put outlets up high too for grow lights. So I
Genius.
could do a ceiling mounted grow light. So I
That's
might
so
have to do that
smart.
too.
I had
Hmm.
my electrician, you're a Soltech girl, right? You've used Soltech before.
I have used it. I like Sansi too. So I
Okay.
use both, but I
So
don't
yeah,
discriminate against any of
you're
them. I love them
agnostic.
all.
You're agnostic. But
Yes.
I had for my office, I had my electrician take out the normal light and install the Highland track lights for my green wall.
So smart. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about taking out an existing light and doing that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
great idea. See, there's so many
And I
options
had
for
him
people.
put them on a dimmer and a timer in the wall.
Wow. Like the timer, do you just turn it or is it like on an
It's
app?
electronic, but it's in the wall next to the light switch.
Love.
And the
That
dimmer
is
is on the light
fantastic.
switch. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that. I might have to steal that idea.
Oh,
That's
please
amazing.
do. I didn't even know
Yeah,
it's something that you could do. And
me either.
I was talking to my contractor and I threw it in just being like, hey, random, but because I knew you could put a plant on a dimmer. I
Hmm.
mean, a light on a
Hmm.
dimmer, but I was like, could he install a timer for this? And he did. It was
Oh
awesome. Totally worth
my
it.
gosh, that's a game changer
Yeah,
for sure.
totally worth it.
I'm such a like, I don't want cords anywhere. I don't want people to know their grow lights. I just want them to be there to help my plants. And
Yes.
so any way that we can kind of disguise that they're grow lights
Yes.
is great. I feel like there's so many good ones now too that just they're not that like bright blue
Yes.
color anymore, which
I
is
know.
so great. They're a nice warm light. You wouldn't even know they're grow lights unless someone pointed it out. So
Yeah,
yeah.
many of them now you can even control like the Kelvin. Like you can kind of
Yeah.
control the warmth of them, which is so
Yep.
nice. Even
Yeah.
just with the lights, like several of the lights that we got for our home have different feature. Like you can click through the blue light,
Yes.
the red
Yeah.
light, whatever for like energy or winding down our
Hmm.
bedroom light. And I have it
Yeah, I love
almost
that.
always on the red version.
Yes, I have a big red light therapy
Mhm.
light thing now, and I love it.
It's so good.
They're
So
so
good.
good. So much light is so important.
So important. So, anything else, any other tips that you might give for I love the big plant. I love
Hmm.
the vertical. I also, I haven't thought that much about textures. I'm going to start thinking more
Hmm.
about leaf textures.
Hmm.
Any other tips you want to give?
I mean, I think just making sure that I mean, again, it's my goal for the new house, but to have them spread out throughout your house.
Yeah.
Whether that means you do need to add a grow light, because we just said that they have a lot of good options and you can put a grow light bulb in pretty much any lamp nowadays.
Mhm.
I think you'll enjoy your plants more if you can see them in more places. At least I know I will, because
Mhm.
for me, it's like I don't get to enjoy my plants unless I'm sitting in my sunroom but like I'd love to be able to just be cooking dinner and like look over and see if there's any yellow leaves on my big,
Yep.
ficus, whatever. Or you just kind of live with them more versus having to be like, okay, I'm going to go in here right now. And that feels more like a chore because I feel like, I got to go in here and then all I see is everything I need to do for the plants. Like, oh, I know that one needs to be repotted. There's some yellow leaves
Yeah.
on that one. This needs to be watered. If they're just in my daily flow of my life throughout my
Mhm.
house, I think it will feel so much nicer. So I would say if you can spread them out, start working on that. That's a big tip because I think that more people would enjoy them more
Yeah.
that way too. So,
And I think people don't understand how easy it is to pop a grow light. Like now you
yeah.
can get bulbs that you literally can just you can
Hmm.
replace every bulb in your
Hmm.
home, at least
Hmm.
in your, floor lamps and your table lamps,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like just put a grow bulb in it and then you can
Yeah.
put plants there. Like it's,
Yeah. And I think people, I've gotten the questions a lot about like, well, how much does that raise your electricity bill? And it truly is
nothing.
like
Yeah.
pennies a month. Like and for what you get out of it,
Yeah.
it's so worth it.
As long
It
as you're going
truly is.
LED. I think it used to
Yes.
be a bigger issue when people were
It
using
was,
like T5s and like all of those other,
yes.
but with the LED smart energy efficient ones, it's
Hmm.
like it's
Hmm.
so nominal for
Yeah. Yeah.
comparatively to what you get.
Yeah. And I mean, otherwise your plant might die and then you have to buy a new one and that's more expensive. So I would say
Totally.
go for the grow light.
Yeah,
It's
one
worth
of the
it.
surprising things for me when I moved to Florida was that I didn't realize, I thought, oh, I'm moving to Florida, houseplant capital of the world. Like, I'm going to have so many
It'll be
plants in my house.
easy. Yeah.
And Florida, actually, you have minimal windows, and all of those windows have UV treatments on them because the sun is so
Hmm.
strong. So every houseplant I have is under grow lights in Florida, which
Yeah.
is so ridiculous. Like, I'm like, man, I could have never seen this
I
coming.
know. Plant people are the crazy people because normal people don't want the sun
Yes.
blinding them and shining into their house and heating it up. And like
Mhm.
everybody's trying to get away from the sun, and we're like, we want more.
I know.
So
I
we're like,
know. It's
so
so
I mean,
funny.
we'll see how our energy bill is in this new house with all the windows, but I still say it's worth it. So
Yeah, 100%. A
yeah.
100%. Now, we've got to talk about your book, You
Yes.
Little Author You. So, your
Hmm.
book is kind of unique. I mean, you've done a few
Hmm.
things that I've not seen other people do in their book. So, tell us about
Hmm.
House Plus Plant and,
Yes.
everything that people can look forward to when they buy it.
Yes. Yeah, I think I really wanted it to be a book that people could feel like is an extension of my community that we have built together over the past, 6, 7 years now. And so I wanted people to feel like it was me. I didn't want to feel like it was out of the realm of what I normally talk about. So I tried to keep my community in mind as much as possible when I was writing it. I wanted them to feel like they were part of it, that they were a part of the journey that it took to write this book. So at the end of every chapter, I absolutely love it. I asked people, and again, this was like a year and a half ago, like when I was
Hmm.
doing this, but I would ask people their plant questions. And then I also got permission, if they were fine with it, for me to use their first name. So I would put that at the end of every chapter, questions that I got that related to the chapter, I would put them at the end of the book with my answer below it in kind of like a bubble format, kind of like we're just texting a friend.
Hmm.
So people can kind of go and see if their question made the book. And I just think it's so fun. And then another thing that I think is more unique as far as I know that I'm really excited about is QR codes that go to all of my DIYs for plants.
Oh,
So those are more
they
towards the
go
end of
to
the
your
book.
DIYs like the
My
video?
DIY videos, yeah, like so my Instagram videos of like showing how I did like a one knot plant hanger and things like that. So when you're reading about that in the DIY section, if you're a visual person like I am, you can just scan the QR code and go watch the video on how to make it. So it's kind of like, little guide. It's definitely more of a guidebook versus like, I
A
mean, I
textbook.
just want people to be
Yeah.
able to, yes, I want people to be able to grab it and be like, oh, how did you do that again? Without having to search through all of my videos on Instagram and just be able to click that, go to it and watch it. As well as if they have a question about a plant or a pest, they can always refer to it as well. So it covers everything from A to Z as far as plant care goes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I'm
so
really excited
great.
about it.
I'm so proud
Yeah.
of you. I'm so happy
Hmm.
for you.
Thank you.
So, this episode is coming out before the air date. So, you can
Hmm.
pre order the book now, and pre
Yes.
orders are
Yep.
huge for people who don't know. Pre
They
orders
are.
are like a big thing for publishers. So, pre order link will be in the show notes. When is it
Hmm.
published as well if people wanted to go to their local bookshop
Yes.
and get it?
Yep. October 6th, you'll be able to grab it. And then anyone that pre-orders it'll ship out that day too. So, and
Okay.
it's everywhere. Like, I mean, you can get it at Amazon, Target, like Barnes and Noble, like super easy to grab it from wherever you want to shop. So,
How kooky was that
yeah.
the first time you like saw the book listing on Target?
Insane. I
Yeah.
literally was like shopping for my like pickup or whatever, and there it is down
Yeah.
below. Like it's just
So
crazy. And
crazy.
Amazon too. It's so weird to see it. It's
Yeah.
so surreal, like I said, but it's been an awesome experience. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited for people to get it in their hands so I can talk about it more with them because I feel like right now it's kind of like
Mhm.
oh, what's in it, blah, blah, blah. But once people can actually see it and go through it, I'm excited to discuss.
100%. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. Everything will be
Thank
linked in
you.
the show notes. And like I said,
Yes.
welcome to the author club. It's a fun
Thank
place
you
to
so
be.
much. You're so sweet. And congrats on your little baby boy. He's
Thank
adorable.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Growing joy.